Jake Morrison stepped off the transport shuttle and into the immense docking bay of Nexus 7. The station stretched outward like a glittering city suspended in the silence of space, a lattice of light and metal orbiting in the abyss. For Jake, a soldier used to the narrow corridors of military transports and the rough air of colonies on the frontier, Nexus 7 was something else entirely. It wasn't just a station, it was a crossroads of civilizations. All around him, alien life moved with purpose. Shapes and bodies that had once only belonged to imagination now passed him by. Some walked on two legs like humans. Others crawled with many limbs, their movements insectal and strange. A few floated, bodies unbound by gravity or perhaps matter itself. Their voices filled the air in a constant hum, 1,000 languages converging into the universal sound of life. Beside him walked Captain Lisa Hayes, her uniform crisp, her presence commanding. She was Earth's chosen diplomat, the one entrusted to lead humanity's first delegation to the Galactic Federation. Jake's role was simpler: security. Protect the diplomats. Keep them alive. And, above all, try not to start a war. His uniform told a story different from hers. Where her attire was ceremonial and spotless, his was scarred with wear. His own body bore the same record. A jagged line cut across his face from ear to mouth, courtesy of shrapnel during the Mars uprising. His right shoulder carried the burns of Europa Station, where he had dragged 3 civilians out of a fire. His hand still bore the puncture marks from Titan, when he had clawed through wreckage barehanded to save trapped miners. Each mark on his skin was history written in pain, not just survival, but the proof that someone else had lived because he hadn't stopped. As they approached the checkpoint, Jake noticed the structure, a towering archway glowing with alien blue light. Guards stood at either side, weapons unlike anything he had ever seen. One of them, tall, green-skinned, with 4 arms folded across its chest, gestured for Lisa to step forward. She did. The scanner's blue light passed over her, the system chimed pleasantly, and the archway glowed green. A smile crossed her lips as she turned back to Jake. "Your turn," she said. Jake stepped forward. The light bathed him in warmth, humming softly as if alive. Then the world shattered into alarm. Red lights blazed across the bay. Sirens howled. The gentle blue glow became an angry, pulsing red. The scanner throbbed like a living heart gone mad. Aliens froze mid-stride. Dozens of eyes, tentacles, and antennae all turned toward him. The 4-armed guards shouted in a tongue Jake didn't know, weapons sliding free from their holsters but not yet leveled. Lisa's hands rose, palms open, her face pale. A new figure approached, clad in an officer's uniform that shimmered with scales. Its eyes were enormous, unblinking, reptilian. When it spoke, its voice was gravel ground against stone. "Step away from the scanner. Do not move suddenly." Jake obeyed, hands visible. His marine training kept his body calm, but inside, confusion roared. The officer, Security Chief SciFi, pulled a device from its belt. Its scales shifted color as it examined the display, changing from green to yellow, then to deep orange. Its eyes flicked from Jake, to the device, then back again. "This is impossible," it muttered. Lisa spoke carefully, "Security Chief, is there a problem?" SciFi turned, his voice sharp. "Problem? Captain, your companion has triggered our deepest protocols." "What did the scanner detect?" The chief raised the device so she could see. On its surface glowed Jake's outline. But unlike Lisa's green silhouette, his was surrounded by flashing crimson warnings. Beneath, the translation appeared in multiple languages. English, subject classification, impossible to kill. Lisa blinked. That must be an error. SciFi's scales flashed red with anger. Our scanners do not err. They catalogued every known species across 2 millennia. We know how much damage every body can endure, where each vital organ lies, how death occurs. But this human, he gestured sharply at Jake. This human has no weakness. No termination point. Jake felt his chest tighten. He was no god, no machine. Just a marine. He had bled, nearly died more times than he could count. A bullet, a blast, any of those would finish him. Wouldn't they? More guards converged, parting only when a massive form entered, Admiral Credo. Towering nearly 3 meters, armored like a fusion of spider and lobster, the Admiral's many eyes focused on Jake with terrible intensity. Its voice was deep, layered, vibrating through the chamber like a chorus. Human. You will explain why our most advanced scanning technology identifies you as an impossibility. Jake hesitated, then glanced at Lisa. She gave a slight nod. I'm just a marine, sir. I've been injured plenty of times. I heal. I keep moving. That's all. The Admiral's eyes swiveled, studying every angle of him. Show me. Jake rolled up his sleeves, revealing the scars. He pointed to the burns across his shoulder, the line at his throat, the punctures in his chest. The Admiral's voice lowered, heavy with something like disbelief. Each of these should have been fatal. A severed artery, plasma burns over 20% of your body, punctured lungs. And yet you stand. Alive. I got lucky, Jake said, shrugging. The Admiral's compound eyes all fixed on him. Luck does not explain survival of a cut throat. Nor plasma that incinerates most species instantly. Nor functioning with broken ribs and a punctured lung. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by the wail of the alarms. Then the Admiral spoke again. Lock down this station. Contact the Science Council. We have encountered something that should not exist. The medical facility of Nexus 7 was not what Jake expected. Its walls were crystalline, alive with pulsing light. Instruments floated freely, humming like insects, while the table beneath him was warm, as if breathing. Dr. Yulnara, crystalline, radiant, her body refracting light into rainbows, stood over him. Her voice was like wind chimes when she spoke. I must examine every scar, she said. Our records show your species only recently left its cradle. And yet, you bear evidence of surviving traumas that would end our most durable warriors. Her scanner, a wand of light, passed over his throat scar first. The screens filled with alien symbols. This wound severed your artery and airway. Blood loss alone should have destroyed your brain within minutes. How did you survive? Jake touched the scar. My medic. He was fast. Stopped the bleeding, got me into surgery. Took 8 hours, but they patched me up. The doctor tilted her crystalline head, tones of disbelief ringing in her voice. 8 hours? My species would die of shock within 1. The Kori warriors would never wake. Even the Stonebacks, famed for endurance, consider this wound fatal. She moved to the burns on his shoulder. Her light wand sang differently, data pouring across the screens. These are plasma burns. Temperatures that kill instantly. They penetrated deep into muscle. Jake remembered Europa Station, the fire, the families trapped. Had to get them out. Wrapped myself in wet cloth, pushed through. Hurt like hell, but people needed saving. The Admiral's voice rumbled. You continued your mission, while burning alive. Jake shrugged. Someone had to. If you're still with me, let me ask you, do you think humanity's greatest strength lies in our intelligence, our technology, or in this sheer stubborn will to survive? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is only just beginning. The scans continued for hours. Jake sat motionless, more specimen than soldier, while alien eyes and instruments studied him with reverence and unease. Dr. Yulnara's crystalline body glowed brighter with each revelation. She turned her prism-like face toward Admiral Credo and Lisa, her tones clear and ringing. I have reviewed 3 of his scars. Each corresponds to trauma rated as unsurvivable across all known biology. Yet he survived not once, but repeatedly. She touched the glowing panel, and Jake's scarred body appeared in shimmering light above them, each injury highlighted in crimson. His throat, severed artery, crushed airway. Survival time, impossible. He lived. His shoulder, plasma burns penetrating bone. Recovery, unrecorded. He endured. His chest, punctured lung, broken ribs. Combat continuation probability, none. He fought on. Each wound she described was an accusation against their science. Lisa crossed her arms. Her voice was calm, though her eyes betrayed both pride and unease. Humans aren't invincible. We just don't stop easily. Admiral Credo's many eyes narrowed, unblinking. You mean to tell me that an entire species survives through this refusal? That pain and damage do not bind you as they bind us? Jake shifted, uncomfortable under the weight of the alien stares. We're fragile. Break our bones, cut our skin, we bleed same as anyone. But, he paused, searching for words. When it matters, when others need us, we don't quit. Even if it kills us, we fight to the last breath. The Admiral's mandibles clicked, producing a sound like grinding stone. To the last breath. And if that breath is gone? Jake's scarred hand flexed. Then another human takes our place. Always. The chamber fell silent. Even the machines seemed to hesitate in their hums. Hours later, the council convened. The grand hall of deliberation was carved from crystal so vast that it seemed to hold a fragment of the stars within. Hundreds of alien representatives gathered, each seated according to their species' design, some in pools of liquid, some clinging to walls, some suspended in the air. Their voices layered into a symphony of sound, until Admiral Credo strode in, followed by Dr. Yulnara, Lisa, and the lone human marine whose scars had ignited chaos. The council speaker, a being of shifting mist contained within a sphere, addressed them. Its voice rippled like wind across an empty desert. Explain why the alarms were triggered. Credo raised a massive claw, gesturing toward Jake. The scanners identified this human as impossible to kill. We believed it a malfunction. It was not. The evidence lies written across his body. Murmurs rose, some sharp with disbelief, others edged with fear. The speaker's mist swirled. Then explain, human. Explain why death does not claim you. Jake exhaled slowly. He hated speaking to crowds. Give him a rifle and an enemy, and he knew what to do. But this, explaining humanity to the galaxy, was beyond him. Still, he tried. I'm no different from anyone back home. Humans bleed, we suffer, we die. But we resist. When something should kill us, sometimes it doesn't. When the body breaks, the mind pushes. And when the mind falters, sometimes another person drags you back. We hold each other up. A delegate, small, insectal, its carapace gleaming, clicked angrily. Illusion. No species survives wounds beyond biological limits. You speak lies to make your kind seem superior. Lisa stepped forward, her voice sharpened by steel. This is no illusion. Our history is filled with people who survived what should have ended them. Soldiers who kept fighting with mortal wounds. Explorers who endured starvation and storms. Civilians who pulled loved ones from rubble, bleeding all the while. What you call impossible, we call Tuesday. A ripple of astonishment moved through the chamber. Dr. Yulnara lifted her crystalline hands. I have verified each of his injuries. My instruments do not lie. His biology adapts in ways none of us predicted. His cells repair far beyond baseline. His nervous system endures pain that would render us unconscious. His body and mind fight together, not for self-preservation alone, but for others. The council fell into silence. Then, one by one, voices rose. If humans cannot be killed easily, what place have they in our wars? Would they not destabilize balance? Are they a threat to the Federation itself? Admiral Credo slammed one claw against the crystal floor, the sound booming like thunder. They are not invincible. They bleed. They fall. But they rise again where no other would. That terrifies me more than invincibility. Jake finally spoke, his voice low but steady. We don't want to terrify anyone. Earth joined this federation to cooperate, to share knowledge, to find peace. But if you're asking what makes us different, it's this: we don't know when to stop. Not in survival. Not in loyalty. Not in protecting those we care about. The speaker's mist coiled inward, as if pondering. Tell me, human. Why? Why fight so hard to live, when existence itself is pain? Jake remembered Europa's fire, Titan's mines, Mars' war. He remembered the screams, the blood, the moments when giving up would have been easier. He remembered faces, civilians he had saved, soldiers who had stood by him, children who had lived because he had endured. Because life matters, he said simply. Even if mine ends, saving someone else makes it worth it. If we can carry one another forward, then death isn't defeat. It's just passing the torch. The chamber was silent again. Not in dismissal, not in mockery, but in awe. Later, in the quiet of their assigned quarters, Lisa turned to him. Her expression was complicated, part admiration, part worry. You realize what just happened, don't you? She asked. Jake sat heavily on the alien-made chair, which molded itself to his shape. Feels like I just told a bedtime story to a room full of aliens. She shook her head. No. You just changed how they see us. To them, species are measured by limits. By what breaks them. And now they've met one that doesn't. He gave a half smile. Guess that makes us dangerous. Not dangerous, Lisa corrected softly. Unpredictable. And in this galaxy, unpredictability is power. In the council chambers, debates continued long into the night. Species that once ignored humanity now whispered its name. Strategists wondered what wars would look like with humans in the ranks. Philosophers questioned what it meant for life to resist death itself. And far from Nexus 7, in places beyond even the Federation's reach, unseen eyes turned toward Earth, calculating, reconsidering, perhaps even fearing what it had unleashed into the stars. Because for the first time in millennia, the galaxy faced a truth it had never considered. A species that should fall, but doesn't. A people who are fragile, yet impossible to break. Humans. Do you think alien civilizations would see humanity's refusal to quit as a strength to admire, or a threat to fear? I'd love to hear your take in the comments. The days that followed were unlike anything Jake had ever known. Instead of combat drills or patrols, he found himself the subject of experiments, studies, and, more unsettling, debates. The Federation wanted answers. Could humans really endure the unendurable? Or was Jake Morrison an anomaly, a rare quirk of evolution? Doctors from 20 different species examined him. Philosophers recorded his words. Strategists studied his scars like maps of an unknown world. And through it all, Jake felt like a specimen in a jar. Dr. Yelnara's crystalline tones tried to comfort him. You are not a prisoner, Jake. You are a revelation. To the Federation, your body is not merely human. It is possibility. He chuckled, though it came out hollow. Funny. Back home, I'm just another Marine trying to make it through the day. But even he could see what was happening. In every corridor of Nexus 7, whispers followed him. Aliens who once dismissed humanity as primitive now paused to watch him pass. Soldiers of other species, proud and battle-scarred, regarded him with something close to respect, or fear. And in the council chambers, the arguments sharpened. A meeting was called, not just of the Federation Council, but of its Defense Council, the body that prepared for wars most citizens never even heard about. Lisa stood at his side, her voice calm and formal as she addressed the chamber. If you test one human, you test us all. Jake's survival isn't an isolated miracle. It's who we are. An avian strategist, feathers black as midnight, leaned forward. Prove it. We require demonstration, not stories. Jake sighed. He had expected this. The demonstration chamber was a place few humans would willingly enter. A vast arena of alien technology, capable of simulating lethal environments with precision. Normally used for training elite soldiers, today it was prepared for him. The first test was cold. A simulated void dropped the temperature until even metals shrieked in contraction. Frost spread across his uniform, his breath crystallized in the air. Alien observers scribbled notes as Jake clenched his jaw and endured. The second was heat. Plasma fire filled the chamber, a blistering wave meant to mimic the suns of dying stars. Jake stumbled, skin screaming in memory of Europa Station, but he pushed through, dragging a weighted object meant to simulate a wounded comrade. The third was pain. Pulses of energy fired into his nerves, designed to incapacitate even the strongest warriors. Jake bit down until blood filled his mouth, refusing to collapse. When it ended, he was trembling, soaked in sweat, body bruised and burned. But he was alive. On his feet. Defiant. Lisa rushed to him, fury in her voice. This is barbaric. He's not here to be your experiment. But the council saw something else. Not a broken man, but a human who would not fall. Admiral Credo's massive form loomed over the arena floor. His mandibles clicked, and for once, his voice carried not authority, but respect. You have shown us. Humanity is not immortal. But it is, inexhaustible. News spread faster than light. On worlds Jake would never see, species spoke of the humans, fragile creatures of flesh and bone, yet more difficult to kill than any armored beast. Some called them allies worth having. Others whispered of nightmares, wars where humans fought on, broken but unyielding, until victory was inevitable. And for the Federation itself, the question deepened, what does it mean to welcome a species that turns even death into a negotiable outcome? Late one evening, Jake stood alone at the viewport of Nexus 7. Beyond stretched the void, stars burning quietly, galaxies wheeling in eternal silence. His reflection in the glass looked tired, scarred, older than his years. Each mark on his skin glowed faintly in the alien light, reminders of every moment he should have died. Lisa joined him, setting a hand on his shoulder. Do you know what they're calling you now? She asked. He shook his head. The man who shouldn't be alive. Jake grimaced. Not much of a name. It's more than you think. To them, you're proof that humanity can't be measured by their charts. You're hope. Fear. A paradox. He let the silence stretch, then asked quietly, do you think that's good or bad? Lisa's gaze lingered on the stars. Both. Maybe that's what makes us human. We're never just one thing. Dr. Yolnara approached, her crystalline body shimmering softly in the starlight. Jake, she said gently, the council will debate for years what your kind represents. But I have already decided. And what's that? He asked. She extended her glowing hands, as if in offering. You are a reminder. That existence is not defined by what ends us, but by what we endure. That survival is not the absence of death, but the presence of meaning. Jake exhaled, a tired smile tugging at his lips. Sounds better than impossible to kill. Her crystalline tones chimed with amusement. Perhaps. But sometimes, the simplest truths are the most dangerous. In the months that followed, humanity's place in the Federation began to shift. Earth was no longer just a young species seeking entry, it was a question that every world had to answer. Would they see humans as comrades? Or as the wild card that could upend the galaxy? Jake didn't know. He only knew one thing, whatever the galaxy decided, humans would keep doing what they always had. Surviving. Protecting. Enduring. Because scars were not weakness. They were stories. Proof that life had tested you, and you had answered with defiance. And if the galaxy wanted to understand humanity, it needed only to look at the Marines standing among them, scarred, stubborn, and still alive. The Speaker of the Council summed it best, its mist coiling in solemn thought. Every species here is defined by where it breaks. Perhaps humans are defined by where they refuse to. So, what do you think? If aliens discovered that humans are defined not by invincibility, but by refusal to give in, would they see us as allies of unmatched loyalty, or as the most dangerous species in the galaxy? Drop your thoughts below. And if this story sparks something in you, don't forget to share it, because maybe the greatest strength of humanity isn't just survival, but reminding others why survival matters at all.